One of my favorite guests has been Rex Chapman. He was a high school legend at Kentucky, played 12 years in the NBA, fell victim to opioid and gambling addictions, which ultimately led to his arrest in 2014. And since then, Rex has used his platform to share his unique perspective on what professional sports can push someone to become as well as overcome. He's got a podcast. It's called Charges. And he has a new guest every Tuesday, Meta World Peace, Michael Vick, Ryan Leaf, athletes who have gotten in trouble with the law. And Rex, of course, speaks firsthand with the knowledge of that. Great to see you, buddy. Doing a podcast. Look at you.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so much fun. Hey, I've been waiting since 11:20. Am I doing one segment or two? What's going on? Huh?
You're right. Yeah. Only my mom got 2 segments, Rex, not you. Do you remember when you took that mugshot? And you put that mugshot, attached it to your podcast just to let people know, hey, I've been there, I've been jailed, you know, I'm a famous guy and I'm here getting a mugshot taken.
Yeah, yes, I remember it. The mugshot doesn't bother me so much. I'm so vain. I'm just mad that I'm so fat and
Wait, that's what you think when you see it?
That's what I think immediately. I go, God.
But do you think how big this is going to be, that it's going to go national here?
Yeah, you know, honest to goodness, the last week has been kind of difficult emotionally. Just for me, I still tried to handle it the same way, just because I know all of this stuff's going to be back out there front and center in the public again. Yeah. And that's a little bit, it's unnerving, not only for me, but for my kids, for my mom and dad, you know, that have to kind of rehash all of that stuff again. So from that standpoint,
but at least you're controlling it this time.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, look, Dan, I'm thrilled to be, you know, where I am back here and alive and not on painkillers and finding, you know, new things about life that I like. And I'm having a ball with it. I'm having to learn how to interview. You know, I can be interviewed. I've done this. You and I texted about it a few weeks ago. I don't know how to interview anybody, so I'm just winging it, trying to be as vulnerable as I can be to show them, hey, you know, come on, give me what you were feeling in that moment, you know, when you were at your worst. And my goodness, these guys have really been willing to do that. And I've been really pleased so far.
Are you revisiting, though? Now you say that it's going to come up, but when you talk to these athletes, does it force you to kind of tell your story to them so they know, hey, we're on common ground here?
Luckily, so far, everybody has known my story. I'm a little older. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, you don't have to tell me, Rex. We know that. I saw that mugshot. Man, you look fat.
I've reached out so far. I've reached out to Allen Iverson and Michael Vick, and immediately they're like, whatever you need, bro, I'm in. So Ryan Leaf, same way. It's just been fascinating. I think, you know, I know when I did it, talked about it last week. There is, when you're in therapy and all that, it's cathartic a bit. And, you know, the other part is, I know when I was searching out there in the depths of my addiction and all that, I was just looking for something, anything, any kind of inspiration to show me that I could get past it. And if this, something I say or something one of these guests says, gets through to somebody out there that can get some help, take some steps maybe they wouldn't have taken, then okay, that's great.
Do you remember, like, if you talk to somebody who's used drugs, they get that first feeling, like that first, and I don't know if you remember that first painkiller where you went, oh, wow. And if you have a personality that, an addictive personality, like, do you remember why you took it and what that feeling was like?
I really do. Cause I wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a smoker. Even, all through my career, if I went out and had a beer the night before a game a dozen times in my career,
oh yeah,
that sounds about right. I wasn't that guy. Now, I was always a basketball addict. I was always a horse racing, gambling addict. I was, bag of Jolly Ranchers. Don't give me one. Give me all of them. I want all of them. And so when I finished playing right away, I had an emergency appendectomy at the end of my last year, and I was going to stop playing. After that, I wasn't very good anymore. And a doctor got off the plane, and the doctor gave me OxyContin. And for whatever reason, I filled it. I took it, and in 2 days, Dan, for real, I was in love. I felt like I was walking a couple inches off the ground. I felt smarter, funnier, happier, more charismatic, better dad, better husband, and just a terrible slippery slope. Within 18 months, I was taking 40 Vicodin a day and 10 OxyContin a day, just chewing them up and eating them all day long, just like they were candy. Thank goodness I didn't drink, or I for sure would be dead. So I do remember it. And I was in love. It was something that was bigger than me. Before, 3 weeks, I was no longer determining when I was taking that medicine. The medicine was telling me, no, you need me. You need me.
But when did you know, or did you know, now all of a sudden, like, I'm getting arrested for stealing?
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. I mean, at that point, you got to know. It was awful. I had 2 girls in middle school, 2 right out of high school. Just the worst, man. So yeah, I knew then, I knew before then. I'd been in rehab 2 other times before then. But at that point, I felt like I was at rock bottom. I'm running low on drugs. I'm running low on money.
But
and
when
I
I
made
was
a lot of
with
money.
you, when I was with you one time,
yeah, just firing at the horses.
Were you high?
For sure. And that's the part about it, Dan, that with painkillers, it's sort of a perfect thing if you're a drug addict, because you don't smell like weed and you don't smell like liquor. I would sweat a little bit more, a lot more, but you can kind of blend into society. Your decisions become worse and worse over time. Your physical and mental health becomes worse and worse over time. And something had to happen to me. I'm not happy that what happened, but something had to happen, or I was going to die.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here, Rex.
Yeah,
I mean, the embarrassment that was there, but now you're going to help so many people. That's why I always love talking to you, because people hear in your voice that you're real. And if you truly want to help people, this is how you help people. I remember Ryan Leaf would say the tip-off was he would start sweating. Being in a family or family tree that has, alcoholics, you always look at a tell. Like, there's tells and you could see, and somebody's drinking. Oh, that's just water. It's not. It's vodka. So you guys are great liars.
Great liars. And
you have to be.
Yeah, addiction, and then there comes a point too in all of that. And I know it did with Ryan, because I just talked to Ryan the other day. There becomes a point where you're getting it from doctors. And back in the day, any doctor would give it to you. If you just called up a random doctor and name dropped, I'm Ryan Leaf or I'm Rex Chapman, they'd be like, oh yeah, what do you need? And give you a prescription. Now, what happens is pretty quickly, you can't keep up. The doctors can't keep up. They start figuring out, you go to other doctors. Pretty soon you run out of doctors because you need so much. And then you go to drug dealers. And that's what I was doing for, a good couple of years early on, just buying them off the street. And the crazy part is that these illegal drugs, they come straight out of the back of the pharmacies. That's where you find them. That's where you go buy them, from somebody inside that's, working double time. They're taking them out of the back and selling them to somebody right out of the back of Osco's or wherever the hell it is.
I was worried when I went through my knee surgeries. They gave me OxyContin when I had my knee replaced, and I didn't take them. I was so worried to take them. I didn't want to like them, and I knew I would, and I purposely was like, I got to get through a couple of days here, that initial pain, but.
That's good, Dan. I'm glad to hear you did that. My mom had knee surgery a little while ago. And there's so many people that I know present day, living around me, friends that I know that have pain, that constantly have 3 or 4 pills in their pocket. they wouldn't think, and they don't classify themselves as addicts, as drug addicts or pill addicts or whatever, but they're never without a handful of pills in their pocket.
Yeah.
And that's so many people, especially where we grew up in Ohio and Kentucky, and the Midwest and South is just being ravaged by it.
He's Rex Chapman, former NBA player and Twitter legend, by the way. The new podcast. No, you do a great job on Twitter. You're fun. The podcast is Charges, made its debut this week. So Ryan Leaf, Meta World Peace. So Michael Vick, did you do that interview already?
Haven't done it yet. About to do it. Yeah,
okay.
Excited, really excited. Because with these guys, I'm a big fan too. I'm a big Michael Vick fan. I'm a big fan. Ryan Leaf. I'm a sports fan, just like you guys. I remember, Dan, I'll say this real quick. You remember when we were young, there was a big star played at Ohio State. I know you remember this. Art Schlichter.
Yeah.
And I just thought he hung the moon, quarterback, my goodness, all-American dude, had a big-time issue, gambling problem.
He still does.
Yes, been in jail, in and out of jail. And I thought back, I was like, man, because I always wondered, I was like, why don't you just stop gambling? The little kid in me, it would have been beneficial for me to hear you interview Art Schlichter back in the day, So I hope that us interviewing Michael Vick and Ron Artest, Meta, Sandiford Artest, I guess now, that, somebody somewhere is going to get something out of it that's relatable. Sports is so relatable, and hopefully we can help some people.
The advice that I'll give you is ask open-ended questions, short questions, open-ended questions, get that person talking. And I think once they get talking and then they establish a comfort level, like that's my goal every time is get to the question because people want to hear your answer and then let you talk and assume nothing. Because as many times as we've talked and I might have answers, my audience might be hearing this for the first time and I don't want to cheat that, that transaction there. But good luck with this.
Thanks, Dan.
And I don't know. It's going to be pretty cathartic, I hope, for you. How's your jumper, by the way? When's the last time you shot hoops?
It's been a few months. Yeah, I shot outside with some kids up the street not long ago, and I'm terrible. I'm just terrible.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm terrible. You gave me some good advice there, Dan. I'm going to give you some. Ready?
Okay.
Don't sleep on John Calipari to the Lakers. That's all I'm saying. All right? That's all I'm saying.
Were you?
And yes, I was high then.
That was April of 2014. So now we know you were high when you put that out there. Poor Calipari is like, I'm not going to the Lakers. Wait, Rex Chapman. Yeah, Rex knows he's plugged into Kentucky.
Oh, what an idiot.
I might have said, I think Rex must be high, and I didn't even know you were high.
Probably did. Yeah.
I was just kidding. Where can people get the podcast?
Anywhere, man. iHeartRadio.
Okay.
iHeartRadio. It's on iHeartRadio.
Okay.
It's anywhere. Apple Podcast, Spotify. Find it anywhere. Charges with
Rex Chapman. Awesome. Thanks, bud. Stay in touch.
Thanks, bud.